These four families are preparing for a time in the not-so-distant future when they believe water, food, and fuel will be scarce.
When the grid goes down, this could be our food source.
We have 3 different sources of water. Without good water, you're not going to survive long.
They fear a world where money is worthless and there is no rule of law.
I'm not going to look like prey.
Each expects an impending disaster that will destroy the world as we know it, and have gone to extreme lengths so that when the end of days arrive, they will be prepared to survive.
I want my kids to do all the fun things that kids should do, but I also want them to learn practical skills.
Prepping has eliminated some hobbies. I don't golf, I don't bowl.
I probably have about $6,000 or $7,000 in food.
Our experts will assess their extensive preparations and decide if they are truly ready for the ultimate life or death test, or if they are just flirting with disaster.
Cheers to the end of the world.
Dennis and Danielle McClung live in a suburb of Phoenix with their 2 children. He is a web designer and she is a nurse.
Which are?
And they are a typical middle-class family, except...
Go! I'm preparing for a coronal mass ejection in 2012. Prepping, it guides everything we do. Prepping has definitely changed our life. You could say I'm obsessed with studying and preparing for the end of the world. In 2012, Earth will be bombarded by a coronal mass ejection. This bombardment will knock our neighborhood and the world's electrical grid down. We'll have a couple days worth of water, about a week's worth of food, and in 30 days, our neighborhood's gonna be pure pandemonium.
Coronal mass ejections are powerful eruptions on the sun that break free of the solar atmosphere. If these masses of plasma reach the Earth, it could destroy our electrical grid, which touches every facet of modern life.
We consider ourselves suburban preppers. We happen to live in a desert city, so we have a lot of challenges that most folks don't have as preppers.
The doomsday scenario for 2012 for me would be that it got so chaotic outside that we would have to leave our home and not be able to take care of our family.
Let's say our family's sitting here in our home some night in 2012 and the coronal mass ejection hits. The first thing that we'll notice is all the lights go off. That's really the least of our worries because we only have a couple days worth of water. And after that, the next thing to run out would be food. And then probably about 7 days after the coronal mass ejection hits, we have no more modern health care. After that, things get real hairy. We could potentially have 140 nuclear meltdowns in America.
In 2009, Dennis moved his family from a small apartment to his suburban dream home. A bedroom for each kid, a modern kitchen, and an Arizona necessity, a backyard pool. But not for swimming.
Our home, it came with a large, empty, rundown pool. And what we did is we framed it and converted it into a solar-powered aquaponic greenhouse. As a part of our plan to be as self-sufficient as we can by 2012.
Cinnamon?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's okay. All right. We keep our chickens over our pond, and they give us eggs every day. And the chicken waste drops into the pond and feeds the pond plants and the algae, which in return feeds the fish, and we eat the fish every day. And the water from the fish in return provides nutrients for the plants. So basically, we've converted our pool into a self-sufficient urban greenhouse in preparation for a coronal mass ejection in 2012. Originally, our old pool was a 16 by 30 rectangle that was 9.5 feet deep and about 4.5 feet at the shallow end. So it's about 500 square feet, and in this 500 square feet, we're able to grow thousands of tilapia fish. And the amazing thing about the tilapia is they can have 1,200 babies at a time, and they're ready to reproduce 4 to 6 weeks later, so they can grow exponentially.
Dad, can we go fishing?
Sure, let's go. Let's get the pole. I'll race you. Come on. You got it. Come on, Kaden. You got it. Pull it. Reel it in. Wow. That's a big one.
If the food supply is disrupted in 2012 or 2013, Dennis will have his own self-sustaining food source. But until then, with over 1,000 fish in the deep end of his pool, he has to go fishing every day because his family eats tilapia nearly every single night.
We could make tilapia lasagna, tilapia tacos, tilapia stir-fry. It's nice because it takes on the taste of whatever we're cooking with. We've been eating fish pretty much daily, and we haven't got tired of it yet. The tilapia water is carried up with a pump using minimal electricity that's powered by solar panels, and then it's distributed with gravity to the plants. Basically, what we do is we grow fish, and we use that nutrient-rich water to also grow produce. We have bok choy, we have grapes, blackberries, peppers, carrots, broccoli. We're trying to live self-sustainable enough to survive an apocalypse.
The heart of Dennis's food production system is the minuscule miracle plant called duckweed. It not only purifies their water, but since it has as much protein as soy, they feed it to the fish, their livestock, and are exploring ways that, as a last resort, they can eat it themselves.
You know, this stuff's getting so thick, we have so much of it, we should make a protein shake out of it.
That's a good idea.
Just try it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here. Ready?
Tastes like lettuce.
Tastes like lettuce.
In the event that a coronal mass ejection does strike, kitchen appliances powered by electricity will be useless. Danielle uses the sun oven for everything, from baking bread to making sun-dried tomatoes, and even to dehydrate duckweed for a protein shake.
We have 8 hens that we raise in our pool. The city would allow us up to 10 hen, we only have 8. So we try to stay under the radar as much as possible. Caden takes personal pride in being responsible for the chickens. He feeds and waters the chickens. He also collects the eggs. Usually we get about 5 to 8 eggs a day. 3 brown right now. Good boy.
The McClung Backyard Menagerie is not limited to just fish and fowl. They also keep some unusual but practical pets, so that even without electricity to run their refrigerator, they will still have fresh milk daily.
We have 2 West African pygmy goats, and they provide our family with a half a gallon of milk a day.
Milk, milk, milk. Those are her udders.
My son Caden actually named the girl Honey, and our daughter named the boy Shotzi, because if we name our goats, then they're not considered livestock.
Like getting milk?
Yes.
And the city we live in doesn't allow goats unless you have 35,000 square feet of land, which we don't have. So by letting our kids name the goats, we've actually got to keep them.
Dennis is constantly looking to the future, thinking and planning how we can best augment his already extensive food, water, and energy preparations for, as he calls it, the end of the world as we know it.
This is our next big project. What we're basically going to do is rip off all the shingles you see here and coat it with a thin layer of rubberized asphalt and aluminum. And what that'll do is actually reflect a lot of the heat back, save us energy, and it'll also enable us to catch thousands of gallons of rainwater, which will replace our potable water usage. This is a very big project for us because in 2012, when the coronal mass ejection hits, we'll be the only folks on the block with a way to provide our family with water and electricity as well as food. I enjoy doing stuff like golf, but since I've been a prepper, I really haven't had much time. So I do miss a little bit of what I call normal life. But I feel it's my duty as a parent to be able to provide for my kids no matter what happens. The worst case scenario that we can see is the breakdown of the fabric that holds our society together. I can see things getting really bad, people shooting each other, riots, looting, pure anarchy. So in order to get through this, we have to think a little different than most preppers because we're thinking about providing for ourselves as long as possible, being truly self-sufficient. Cheers to the end of the world.
To survive 2012-2013, Dennis and Danielle have created a veritable Eden in their backyard. But how will they survive if unforeseen events force them to leave and go it alone on the road?
Who's this elephant? We're no longer safe to stay here.
And what will our expert think of their chances of survival?
I'm a typical Phoenix suburban housewife, except I'm preparing for the end of the world.
Look what we got.
All right.
Dennis and Danielle are scared that if the grid shuts down because of coronal mass ejections, the nearby nuclear power plant safety measures will fail, and it will melt down. In preparing for the end of the world, as with anything else, practice makes perfect. So they practice, practice, practice.
Go.
Dennis's goal is to have them get their nuclear, chemical, and biological suits on in under 6 minutes.
Really, a family has to know how to use these, and if you don't have them, in the event of a nuclear catastrophe, you'd be out of luck. I'm gonna beat Mama. I think the boys are gonna win, Caden.
All right, guys, we did it. All right, give it frame. Yeah.
Caden, you did a great job. I'm very proud of you.
When relatives come to visit the McClungs, they sleep in what could be the safest guest bedroom in all of Arizona.
We decided to convert our guest bedroom to a survival supply room. We've had a lot of friends and neighbors come over and, think everything is pretty normal until they walk into this room, and it kind of takes them back a bit.
We keep our gas masks in order. This one is my daughter Veda's. This is my son Caden's. This is my gas mask. And this is my husband Dennis's.
This is our emergency coagulant. If I was to get shot, my wife could pour that on me, or someone could pour it on me and prevent me from losing all my blood.
This is a minor surgery kit, so if I need to do any sutures or any minor surgeries, I have that ability.
What we have here is a portable toilet. So if we had to go to the bathroom in here, we could bag it up and keep it separate. Believe it or not, poor hygiene could be one of the biggest killers in if something was to be wrong with the grid.
Some families go camping for a little R&R, but in an emergency, Dennis feels he will have to get his family out of the house and out of Phoenix as quickly and as well prepared as possible. There's no space for hot dogs and marshmallows in Dennis's bug-out bag.
A 72-hour kit or a bug-out bag is basically everything you would need for about 3 days. You got to think about cooking and fuel and navigation, water certainly, hygiene. You're going to want to have personal means of protection. The 72-hour kit could be the difference between life and death. To us, preparing